So, so we in the last class we just discussed about the some introduction about the HANA, what is HANA. So these things we discussed. So HANA is an in-memory column oriented so relational database management system RDMS. The primary function of HANA database is to store the data, to retrieve the data by applications. So all kind of functionalities, maybe development and application functionalities are available in HANA database here, right? It's a column oriented. It has only columns and a relational database management system here. It's developed and marketed by SAP SE. SE is the software vendor for SAP. The primary function of the software running on the database is to store and retrieve the data as requested by the applications. All right. That's what we discussed. What is HANA and everything. Right. So HANA is a proprietary commercial software. The license is the it's a commercial software here. So the OS operating system for the HANA database we have to install on the Linux operating system. Suppose if I talk about the versions of the HANA, so the versions of HANA database is like a, so if you see here, we have the, so initially in 2010, that is the initial release of the HANA, the program languages SAP used here is the C and C++. The initial release of the HANA is like a, so HANA 1.0, so then SPS 01. That is the first one they have released into the market here. Then later, so SPS 02, so 01, and so up to 02, so 02 and 03 and 03 and 04 and yearly ones they have started releasing the all the versions and everything. So up to 7, then up to 7, 8, 9, then 12 is the last version in the HANA 1.0. So why they have named it as the 1.0 and HANA 1.0, something like that, why they are releasing the SPS. SPS means support pack stack. Support pack stack here. Suppose why SAP will release the versions here. In case of in the existing version, if any bugs, new things, new issues, then they will go for the latest version SPS 02. Then they will implement the SPS 03, 04 like that up to so 12 months 12. So they have released the so SPS 12 up to 12 they have released into the market here. Right? This is in the HANA 1.0. So then at the same time here, after the 1.0, then again in the next year, they have not released the HANA 1.0. Then they have named it as the 2.0. Then SPS 01, they have released it here. So SPS 01, they have released it here. So here SPS 03, 2 and 3 and 4 and we have the 5 and we have the 6 and 7 is the last year they have released it, and this year 03 in the week back they have released the new HANA database version SPS 08. That is the latest version SAP released into the market here. HANA 2.0 SPS 08 is the latest version in the market. Currently, as of today, this is the latest version, right? So here, HANA, sir, what is the difference here? You see here, HANA 1.0 and HANA 2.0. They are the two differences are there here. So why they have named it as the 2.0, right? Maybe in upcoming, maybe 3.0, something like that. So why they have named it as the 1.0 and 2.0 here? What is the differences here? So HANA 1 means single, right? HANA 1.0 is the single container. HANA 1.0 is the single container here. This is a single container. Single means when you install the HANA database, only single container means single database. Container means storing the data. Normally, one more word is called the container or single database here. Single container. So there is no other databases will be installed, a single container concept here, right? So here, so metadata, every database there is a metadata and repository included in, so HANA 1.0 here, metadata and the repository included in the 1.0 itself, right? Included, right? That is the one thing here. So when it comes to the HANA 2.0 concept here, when it comes to the HANA 2.0, when you install the one HANA database here, in the 1.0, there is only one database you will come to know here. You will get the only one HANA database you will get here. Right? Sorry, if I install the one database, then only one database we will get, right? Then what is the logic here? Right? But when it goes to the 2.0, when it goes to the 2.0, here one is the system DB and the second one is the tenant DB here. System DB and tenant DB, you will get the two here. So one is the system DB, SDB, system DB, and second one is the one tenant DB you will get. So which means HANA 1.0 is the single container, you will get only one database here. So HANA 2.0 is the multi-container. It's like a multi-container here. It's like a multi-container, which means multiple databases we can install on the one host, one SID, multiple databases we can add it here, right? Here you have a system DB and system DB and tenant DB concept here, system DB and tenant DB concept here, system DB and tenant DB concept here. It's a multi-container system DB and tenant DB concept here. In the system DB, and tenant DB, it's a multi-container system DB, tenant DB concept here. So in the system DB, so why there is no concept here? So they have not included here, but they have included this concept in the 2.0. That's why it's a multi container here. So by default, when you install the HANA database, you will get the one system DB, one tenant DB. On top of, if you want to install the more databases, you can install the more databases on top of that one. On top of, if you want to install the more databases, you can install the more databases. Up to how many? Up to 19 tenant databases we can add in one host. 19 tenant database, 19 additional tenant DBs we can add in one tenant database here. One SID, one base, you can install the multiple floors. Like this is like a independent house in 150 square yards. If you build a house, then only one family can stay here in the independent house. At the same time, HANA 2.0 is a apartment concept. In the apartment, so you see when you install the apartment, then one in the same size, in the same 150 square hertz. So here one system DB, then multiple tenant databases we can keep on in up to 19 floors. We can build it in the multi-container concept here 2.0. So which means you no need to separately install the any other databases for the applications. So on one SID, the multiple tenant databases you can create it. So each tenant database, your data will be stored. Each application will be pointed to the tenant databases only. So like that, SAP introduced the concept in HANA 2.0. In the HANA 2.0, SAP introduced this concept, right? So HANA 2.0, the sys multi-container concept SAP introduced. When you install the HANA 2.0 software, so then you will get the one system DB as well as you will get the one tenant database also you will get here. One system DB and one tenant database also you will get here. So after that, you can install the you can install the multiple tenants. You can install it here, multiple tenants. So it's a tenant based concept here SAP introduced into the 2.0, right? So that is the concept SAP introduced here. Only one SID, then you will get the normal database services. Here you will get the two databases The one database is called the system DB. System database is only one. Then multiple tenants we can install it. By default, you will get the one tenant. After that, if you want to create the one more tenant database, then you need to execute the query. The tenant DB will be created. What tenant DB will be created? So only query execution, the new tenant databases will be created here. So that is the concept of the multi-container HANA 2.0 multi-container concept here. Okay, so it's a in-memory column-oriented columnar database here, right? So that is the concept SAP introduced into the market. It's the latest new generation technology. That is what the SAP introduced into the market here. So when the SAP released these things into the market here, when the SAP released into the market here, so they have the three editions the SAP released into the market here, right? They are the three editions. They are the different type of HANA editions SAP released into the market here. One is the SAP HANA platform edition here. Second one is the SAP HANA enterprise SAP HANA Enterprise Edition here. The third one is the SAP HANA Extended Edition here. They are the three editions SAP released into the market. Sir, what is the difference here? Depends upon the license only. The difference is the licensing and additional functionalities in the each and every edition here. So normally every company will use the platform edition. Platform edition provides the core database technology. The platform edition, you will get the platform edition. Suppose in the platform edition, you will get the core database, core DB, database related software, and so HANA client plus HANA Studio, HANA coded HANA Studio, HANA client. Then ETL, the customer who wants to use the ETL based replication, they will get the ETL based replication. They will get it out here. They will get the ETL based replication. They will get it out here. Means by default functionalities you will get in the platform edition, right? Then when we go for the enterprise edition here, enterprise edition, same core DB you will get it out, plus HANA client you will receive, then HANA Studio core database, HANA Studio, HANA database. Then additionally, you will get the enterprise edition, you will get the data provisioning technique here. Data provisioning technique likes. So data provisioning techniques means this license also you will get it out here. This license also you will get as a free in this version here. Data provisioning means SLT, DXC, right? So DXC bots. These are the replication, additional functionalities. This functionality related softwares also additionally you will get in the enterprise edition. Suppose if you have a requirement, then instead of purchasing the separate license in the, suppose you have taken the platform edition, then you want to use the SLT DXE. If instead of purchasing the separate license and separate cost, if you take the enterprise edition, within the enterprise edition, you will get the DB client studio and data provisioning techniques. You will get it out, right? In one license, you will get the all the functionalities. You will get it out from SAP, right? So this is the main difference between the platform edition and enterprise edition here. So the next one is the extended extended edition here. Extended edition means here same core DB software plus HANA client, HANA Studio plus HANA client, HANA Studio. So HANA Studio. So then additionally you will get the plus this data provisioning techniques plus and additionally you will get the Sybase replication Sybase replication server license. You will get it out, right? So here same. This is the minimum basic you will get. Every company will use this one. Suppose your company having there is a provisioning, they want to use this functionality also here, then they can purchase the enterprise edition, they can purchase it here. Suppose they want to go for the extended edition, then they can purchase the core HANA client. Especially if you take this one, then additionally you will get the Sybase replication server functionality also, you will get it out. Means the additional functionality you will get from the SAP here. In that case, if you have the requirement, instead of taking this one, and again separately, if you purchase the separate license, there are the two licenses, two separate cost. Instead of that, if you take this license here, you in the one pack you will getting the all the things, right? So that is the reason. So SAP depends upon the customer interest, customer usage requirement. SAP released the three editions into the market here. One is the platform enterprise edition and extended enterprise edition here, right? This is having the more functionality. This is having the more functionality in the system here, right? So that is the one thing here. So here, so what are the advantages if I want to use the HANA? What are the advantages here? It's a in memory platform, in memory. So in memory technology, user can explore, analyze the transaction and analytical data in the real time. In any data source, in one screen, he can access, explore, analyze the transactional and analytical data in the real time here. Data can be aggregated from the any different data sources here, right? So real-time replication service also we can use it to replicate the data. So replication functionality is also available. Replication means you can replicate the data from one database to another database, either non-HANA to HANA database or HANA to non-HANA databases. So you can use it here. You can use that. So replication functionalities and everything here, right? So that is the HANA database here. So here, sir, that is all fine. Then what we required to install the HANA database? So what we required here, right? So now we discussed in the earlier, we discussed about the difference between the HANA 1.0 and 2.0 here. 1.0 single container, 2.0 multi-container. There are the multiple databases we can add. So in the up to 19, we can add in the one host. Simply say multi-container database here. This is a single database here, single container. So metadata and repository got included here. Here it got separated here. Not multi-container concept in the 2.0 metadata and the repository got separated. Metadata and repository got separated in the systems, right? That is the main functionality here. That is the main functionality here, right? So here, can we, like, what we required to install the HANA database, what we required here? First of all, so we need to know the HANA hardware and software requirements here. HANA hardware hardware and software requirements here. Software requirements here. HANA hardware and the software requirements here. What is mean by HANA hardware and software requirements here? So hardware requirements means what are the hardwares we require to install the HANA database, because this is a business database. Business, once they started using the HANA database, that is the permanent database for them, their businesses, right? So then how carefully they need to plan the hardwares and everything. Hardware means operating systems, your hardware. So then memory, disk, so network, this and all that comes under the hardware requirements here. So coming to the hardware requirement here, so what is required? So HANA, so we have to purchase the HANA hardware from certified certified hardware vendors here. Certified, so hardware vendors here. We have to purchase the HANA from certified hardware vendors. Sir, where can I get the certified hardware vendors details here? So if you just Google it here, so HANA certified hardware vendors here, then you will come to know the one list here. Then here hardware vendors means here HP, Fujitsu, Lenovo, Dell, Inspiron, and So there the multiple hardware vendors are there. They will provide the hardware to us so that we can use those hardwares for our business purpose. We can use for HANA database. So HANA, we have to use the certified hardware vendors only. Certified hardware vendors only. We have to use it here, right? So that is the main thing here. Here we will get the latest thing here. Once the site is loaded, list of hardware vendors we will get here. Suppose example, see here vendors, Cisco, so Azure, so Cloud, DataSphere, Dell, Inspiron, Lenovo. These all are the certified hardware vendors for the HANA database here. So which means they can use, or suppose if any customer they want to use the HANA database, first of all, they need to purchase the hardware from the listed members only. The whoever the listed here, only those people we have to purchase the hardware from those people only here, right? So those people, those companies, we need to purchase the hardware vendors here. So certified hardware vendors here. So then once you procure the hardware here, then on top of the hardware, we need to install the operating system. On top of the hardware, we have to install the operating system here. HANA, we can only install on the Linux box only. Either SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux. Red Hat Linux here. There are the two flavors in the Linux. One is the SUSE Linux and the Red Hat Linux here. So we have to install the HANA database in the two flavors here. One is the SUSE operating system, either SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux here. There should be certified hardware vendor. OS should be required. Then what is the RAM size here? How much RAM is required here? Right? Then also how many CPUs are required here? Then what are the disk storage capacity is required here? Right? What is the network? What is the network here? Network bandwidth, right? Network bandwidth here. And also we need to check the file systems, how many file systems we required for the HANA database. So these are the things will comes under the HANA hardware requirement here. HANA hardware requirements here. These are the things will comes under the HANA hardware requirements here, right? So that is the one thing here, right? So here RAM size, RAM size here. So how to get the RAM size here? So to calculate the RAM size here, why? Because this is a database. Then how can I know the what is the RAM size for the HANA database here, right? Well, because this is a business software we are installing, we have to carefully, we need to plan the all the things we have to carefully, we have to plan it here. Then what is the RAM size for HANA database here? How much RAM we require? Right? So here there are the two ways, multiple ways we can get the RAM size here. If it is the greenfield installation, if it is the greenfield means fresh installation of the HANA database here. Normally fresh installation means greenfield. We will call it as the greenfield installation. Normally we will call it as the greenfield installation here. In the greenfield installation, what we can do here, so fresh installation, which means we can calculate the sizing by using the SAP pick sizer tool. Pick sizer tool, we can use it, we can calculate the HANA DB sizing, or we can also use the t-shirt sizing method. T-shirt sizing method here. T-shirt sizing method. So what is mean by t-shirt sizing method here, right? So if it is the green field, means fresh installation of the HANA database, that normally we will call it as the greenfield installation. So that we can calculate either from the SAP Quick Sizer tool. Quick Sizer tool is the one of the web-based tool here. Quick Sizer tool is the one of the web-based tool here. So using this one, we can find out the how much RAM is required. Why? Because HANA, for HANA databases, RAM is very important here. RAM size requirements are very important for the HANA databases here. So for calculating the quick sizer tool here, so we can go to the quick sizer web-based tool. We can create the project. We can get the how much RAM size is required here. How much RAM size is required here. Then the second approach is the T-shirt sizing method. T-shirt sizing method means small, medium, large, extra large, like that we have the sizing, right? In the minimum here for the HANA database, minimum 120 GB minimum for the small companies. We can go for the small companies. Yes, for small. We can go for the 128 GB RAM is required here. So here 256 GB is required for the some medium size companies here. Large company, we can go for the 512 GB we required here. Then extra large companies, we can go for the 1 TB RAM memory, we can go for that one minimum requirement. These all the things comes under the T-shirt sizing method. So to install the HANA database, minimum 128 GB RAM requirement is required as part of the T-shirt sizing method, right? So sizing means to calculate the hardware calculation like memory, CPU, disk, network. These all are comes under the sizing here, right? Here you see the quick sizer tool here, HANA sizing here. In the HANA sizing, why it's taking time. So sizing here, you can see the, so you can create the project. So greenfield Oxford sizing. So then we can calculate the sizing here. We can go to the quick sizer tool. So here there is a link will come there. We have to create the project. Then we can provide the requirements here. We can provide the requirements to the to calculate the sizing here. So here, what we can do, we can go for the so kick sizer tool or whatever the sizing we required. So we can go for that one here, quick sizer tool here, right? So this is the sizing quick sizer. So then HANA based quick sizer tool here. So then here it will ask the data size and everything here. We need to provide the all the details here. Like yes, user ID is required here. Just we can provide the details here. So then once you provide the details, you will get the list how much RAM is required here. Otherwise, blindly we can go with the T-shirt sizing method. Depends upon the company. Your company is the small or medium, we can take the respective GB of RAM size here. If it is the brownfield implementation, if it is the brownfield means greenfield means fresh installation, brownfield means migrations here. Migrations here. Brownfield, normally we will call it as the brownfield here. In the brownfield, we need to, in the brownfield installation, so we need to use the DB scripts, or we can use the SAP report. One as a report we have to use it here, that is called the slash SDF HDB underscore the sizing report. We have to execute it here. Sizing report we have to execute here to get the, so the sizing on here, to get the sizing we need to execute this one here, HDB sizing report, either DB script or SAP reports we have to execute it here, right? This is the brownfield migrations purpose, which means database already, your database already installed in the other non-HANA databases. You want to migrate to the HANA, then what is the next action item here, right? So next action item. So that is the brownfield migrations here. It is a fresh installation. Directly you can take the this much of RAM. Then based on that you can calculate the so remaining one here. So how many CPUs you required here? Why? Because HANA, this is the business system HANA you are planning. So we have to carefully calculate the RAM requirement and memory, CPUs, space, the network, all those things. Otherwise, our system so will not run. System will run it. We may face the performance CPU issues, memory issues. We may face it. So this is a newly installed system. Why again we are getting the fresh installation? Means the sizing is not correctly done. Hardware sizing is not correctly done. That is the reason you are facing the issues here. So carefully we need to plan the sizing here. So if it is the CPUs means, so normally there are the two types of CPUs here. Physical CPUs, PCPU, normally we will call it as the physical CPU, and so virtual CPU. If it is the cloud, normally we will call it as the virtual CPU here. One physical CPU brand new hardware will handle the 14 GB of RAM memory. One CPU will handle the 14 GB of RAM memory here. So which means, so if you take the 128 GB, 128 GB RAM, you got it, then 128 GB by 14, then how many CPUs will come? Then that many CPUs you required for the HANA databases here. Means CPU into RAM ratio here. 1 is to 4 ratio we required the so CPUs here. So means one CPU 14 GB will handle it here. Two CPUs 28 GB. So like that, we need to calculate the CPU sizing requirement. We have to calculate it here. Suppose example, if you take here, suppose, so you have the 1 terabyte RAM, then 1 terabyte by 1 terabyte by 14. Then how many CPUs will come? 73. Then you need the, suppose if you take the 1 terabyte RAM, then you need the 73 CPUs are required. 72 or 74 CPUs are required to survey the here. Means one CPU, 14 GB only, it will handle it. So here, this one. But when it goes to the virtual CPU will handle the 7 GB of RAM memory. So half percentage. So 7 GB of RAM memory here. So here the CPU's 7 GB of RAM memory, it will handle it here, right? So that is the so one thing here. vCPU 7 GB of RAM memory. So physical CPU's 14 GB of RAM memory here. Here double you required. In the cloud you require the double CPUs are required. Here 16 we are getting mains, 73 we are getting mains. Here 146 you required for the in the in the cloud level. If you take the 1 terabyte of RAM size, then immediately you require the CPUs are called the 146 R. So 146 R required here, right? This is the so virtual CPU's concept. So everything will come under the based upon the CPU zone, based upon the main memory, RAM memory. So based upon the how much you take the RAM memory, based on that CPU's count will come. So based on that disk storage will come, right? So here for HANA, we required the what are the file systems we required for the HANA database here. This is a very important. What are the file systems required for the HANA database here? So root is required here. Then USR SAP is required. Then slash HANA shared. Then slash HANA data is required. Then slash HANA log folder is required. Data log and a shared folder. So this is required here, right? So root, how much we required here? Root is the 10 GB minimum space required at operating system level. USR SAP 50 GB. So don't think like it's not my own calculation. It's a SAP recommended calculations here. Okay. SAP recommended calculations for the HANA database. See here how critically we are planning for the hardware, software, file system, disk for the HANA database installation. So why? Because HANA is the high memory, in memory high performance oriented database. So it's very speed performance. Why? Because of the we need more RAM. Because of the RAM, data storing into the RAM memory. Then if you have the more RAM, then more data will be stored. That purpose we need the more RAM is required here, right? Then 10 GB, 50 GB. Then here 1 into RAM size you required. Slash and data 3 into RAM size we required. 3 into RAM size we required. Slash and data 0.5 into the RAM size is required. RAM size is required here. Means half by 2 of RAM size here. Right? So which means these are the calculations for the disk storage here. So which means these are the file systems and each file system this much of free space is required here. So 60 GB, suppose your 100 GB, suppose if you take the your RAM size is the 100 GB, then 100 GB, 300 GB, 50 GB. So then 450, 500, 510. So total disk storage is 510 GB is required. Free space is required. The 510 GB is required here. 510 GB you are segregated as a 550, 10 GB, 60 GB, and 100 GB. Suppose if you take the RAM size, see here, based upon the RAM size only, you are getting the you are getting the size requirements. Based upon the RAM size only, you are getting the CPU count here. So based upon the RAM size. So RAM size is very important. Calculating the RAM size is very important factor here. Right? So here, if you take the 1 terabyte, then 1 terabyte means 1 terabyte, 1 into 1 terabyte RAM size, 3 terabyte, 4 terabyte, then 450, 4500, 4.50, 4.5, then 4.550, 4.560. So total 4 terabyte 600 GB is required for the disk storage here. In case of your this one, this calculation is very important here. This is the what SAP recommended one. Okay, network bandwidth is 1 Gbps, 1 gigabyte per second. 1 gigabyte per second here. 1 gigabyte. So means 1 GB per second. That is the network, good network bandwidth SAP is recommending here, right? That is the 1 Gbps here, right? These are the file systems, 5 types of file systems we required for the HANA database, and this is the space recommendations, network, how many CPUs were required, how much memory is required, how to calculate it, what is the operating system levels, and what are the certified hardware vendors here. These and all the things are required for here to perform the HANA DB installation. Before we do the HANA DB installation, these are the space recommendations we required. So along with this ones are Linux, right? Linux side we have the apart from this one, there are the other file system also slash var slash temp, then slash log, then slash home, then slash. So there the swap, there the our own for recommendation file space we can give it here. These are the operating system level. So file systems here. These all are the especially HANA specific file systems which we required. HANA specific file systems here. Why? Because HANA is the volatile memory. Everything it will store into the RAM level. But whenever the system restarts, your RAM memory get full. RAM memory, all the data is gone. Then in this case, one copy of data will be storing into the file system level here in the data folder level. So something is happens when you are restarting again, data will be reloaded to the main memory. From disk to main memory, your data will be reloaded here. Data will be reloaded here. These are the specific hardware requirements, for HANA databases, right? So it's very important. First important thing is the how many file systems we required, what are the space recommendations. 3 into RAM size, 1 into RAM size, 0.5 into RAM size, 10 GB, 50 GB operating system level. So how much memory is required based upon the methods. Pick sizer tool or t-shirt sizing method or brown field, we can execute the reports, sizing reports. So once you got the RAM size, you will get the space, how much space is required. Once you got the RAM, how many CPUs you required. So all the information you will get from So system only all are depend upon the your RAM size here. Okay. So then yeah, that is the hardware requirements. So any questions, anyone here?
Was the network size fixed, or was that also by certain calculations as well?
So which one? This one?
So number six, the network size, is that fixed, or is that also by
Yeah,
a certain?
minimum they are recommending like 1 Gbps, but Mbps also fine. So they say like one Mbps is the 1 Gbps is the recommended or good network bandwidth. Good network bandwidth here. Even though we have the full memory, full RAM is there, if network is slow, what we can do? That is also one of the performance contributor, right? So that is the reason they say like one network bandwidth is required or 1 Gbps. That is what they are recommended, 1 gigabyte per second. But Mbps also fine actually.
Okay.
Any other questions, anyone? Yeah. Sridharan, your voice is maybe something different voice is coming. We are unable to hear you.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, sir, can you explain about tenant database once?
Yeah. Still, we have not explained about the differences between the system DB and tenant DB. Explained about only so single container, multi-container. Then what it contains in the single container, what it contains in the multi-container, I have not explained. Why? Because if I explain theoretically now, you guys will confuse. So I have not explained. Maybe tomorrow it will come that one. So because so today only full theoretical I am covering. So people may be confusing. That's why. So that is the reason. So I
So,
will explain it system DB and also here. So that's why single container, multi container, we know the differences. But what is the difference between the system DB and the tenant DB? That time when you are doing the installation, that time you will get the full picture here. So that's why I stopped the topic here. What defines the RAM size? In the RAM, business data will be saved. In a year, how much data will be saved? Maybe a rough estimation. Based on that, 5 years, how much data is required? So 5 terabyte, then 5 terabyte they will take for the RAM size. Like that, they will calculate the sizing. For now, mine is the new startup company. I don't have that much of business. So maybe so you can take like 128 GB later if you want, we can increase it. Means yes, that is fine. 128 GB, 256 GB. Mine is a small company. Then I can go for the 256. Yes, you can go for the 256 GB.
So, can you explain that scale up system, that the difference?
So you can ask me questions only whatever the topics I covered it here. Okay. So why? Because scale up and scale up that will come actually. Those topics will come, upcoming topics. So whatever the topics in the versions information, containers, and the hardware requirements, if you have any questions, you can ask me on that area. So if I start explaining once again the scale up and scale out architectures and everything, so again the new people will get confused. Even though if you have the experience, I understand you have the experience on the HANA DB, but we should we should take care of the new guys as well. Okay. So scale up. Okay. Since you asked the question, let me explain. Scale up. You have the HANA system. You already installed the HANA system. Scale up means increasing the, sorry, scale out, scale out. So scale out and scale up. So scale up, increasing the existing RAM size and CPUs to the in the same hardware. In the same hardware, you are increasing the existing RAM size and memory to the higher level. That is called the scale up. Okay. Scale out architecture means you have the multi-host architecture. Means HANA also we can install on the multiple host as well here. So that this is called the scale out, OUT out. So this is the one host, this is the one host, then one more host also you can install it. This is called the one host here. In case of this is down, then we have the other two to handle the load. In case of this is down, other two are there. So that is called the scale out. That is called the scale out architecture, master node, slave node concept here.
So that ILT, you mean ILT will be in the scale out, right? Like we have primary like secondary DBs in the cluster system. So
Yes,
that will be in the scale out, right?
yeah, cluster systems. Yes, that will be in the scale out architecture side. Yes.
Okay. Then only if you have one DB server and that if you are increasing that RAM further,
Only
that
in
is
the
it's scale out.
existing hardware, in the existing only single system, you are increasing the RAM. That is called the scale up. Scale up. You are uplifting. That is called the scale up here. So I don't want to increase existing one. I need new hardware and whatever the increment of the RAM size, I will go with this one. That is called the scale out architecture in the HANA database.
But for that development quality and all, we can't do this, right? Like only for pre-production production, that ILT concept only we can scale out concept will work, right?
That is depends upon the customer. Some customers development and quality they will go for the single. Then in the production they will go for the scale out architecture and everything. So that is depends. So that depends upon the customer. Anyways, any architecture you can install in the landscape.
Okay, sir. And one more doubt, sir, like in the hardware procurement you showed, right? There, like based on our RAM size, that system will differ, right? That we have different naming convention for each
Right.
RAM size, like EM, some other. Can you show that?
Which one?
No, that hardware procurement, like in the you showed, right? Assure some of the vendors. So in that, like in the based on our RAM size, like there is a naming convention, right? M30 that for the software, like for the RAM
Not the based
size.
upon the RAM size. So which hardware you are interested, you can procure the hardware from them. While procuring the hardware, it will ask the how much RAM you required. So then based on that, you need to take the that much of hardware you have to take it out. How much memory size up to 32 terabyte it will support it. See 32 TB. So from 48 GB to 32 TB minimum. So then based on that, so Dell you are using here Dell and your vendors you are using the Dell and the memory size is the suppose like 16 TB like 1 terabyte. So 1 terabyte then. So what are the hardwares here? Dell. So Power Edge. These are the solutions. Dell EMC Power Edge solutions. These are the architectures you can purchase from outside or you can also purchase from them. They can provide it, all those things. As per your requirement, if you calculate the memory size and everything, they will provide it here. CPU, what type of CPUs you want to use? Normally, Intel as well CPUs is the recommended or later versions. So CPU versions, these all are. So normally we don't require architects will take care of all those things. So based upon the CPU architecture, which type of CPUs you are interested. So as well CPUs or broad CPU, whatever CPU. This based on that, you can get the remaining things, appliance. So this IBM, the power machine you need to purchase from here. What is the power machine? 128 GB RAM. So who will provide it? Dell. Dell will provide the PowerEdge R90. It is supported by the our version. S4 ANA, S4 ANA. So this will support it here. Then what are the operating systems it will support it here. So you can get the all the information here. So normally the architects in the team they will take care of this part, certified solutions.
So this is for on-premise, right? These servers when we
We can also install on the cloud as well as the in the on-premise. SAP HANA can be deployed in the on-premises or in the cloud, public cloud, in the private cloud sectors also we can install it.
yeah, correct. So that we can get it on hyperscaler. But this one, what you are showing, this PowerEdge R840, these are on-premise servers, right?
Yeah, on-premise depends upon the vendor. Depends upon the vendor. If you select the AWS, if you select the Fujitsu, if you select the AWS, then AWS related hardware. AWS means cloud, so it's cloud related things. You will get it out. So these all are the cloud related platforms here. So which platform in the cloud? AWS cloud vendor. So then which solution you want to go? You can compare it and you can install it.
Yeah, so I mean, when we are choosing AWS, then it's like we have to be on cloud. We cannot have anything
Right.
on premise, correct?
Yeah, if you are, yeah, whatever you required, so you need to select respective vendor only here. Then you have to install the HANA database or everything in the AWS only. In the AWS, there is a console. In that console, this CPU recommendations are, we can select it and you can install it here.
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
So even Azure is on cloud, right?
Yeah, you will get many things here. Azure, Alibaba Cloud, Cisco, GCP, Microsoft Azure. Yes. So IBM Cloud, AWS. These all are the on-premises Lenovo. Normal our laptops, Lenovo, Hitachi, Dell. So yeah, there are many are there here. Many companies they will procure, they will providing the so hardwares.
So we can select and then that server team will take care of the rest, right? Like
Actually, it is not our
deployment.
scope of work actually. Why? Because it's like a client decide which where they want to go. Our architects they will decide it where they want to go here. Our duty is so in case of if they ask us, then our involvement will comes under the how much disk space, network, and file systems. These and all the things comes under our picture here. So, but in case in the future, if you go the architect level, so that time these conditions will come into the picture. So, quick sizer tool, T-set sizing method, Red Hat, what is the operating systems and certified hardware vendor that time. But as per your experience, that is does not require these things. This much of in detailed way, it's not required. Only thing is you require the what are the file systems required and their space recommendation. Only these two questions, these two important things are required.
Sir,
Yes.
here for brownfield, like based on DB scripts or reports, we'll be getting the size, right, sir? Which are
Right.
like how much we are trying to increase. That one we need data from here.
Yeah, based upon this one, we will get it out. But because already database is installed, already data already there in that databases. So then if it's already there, then we should know, right, how much the size is that currently DB is having. Based on that, we will come to know how much is required for the target. That is during the migration time, we will come to know how to calculate the sizing for when you are migrating to HANA database from any other databases to HANA database, the sizing is the one of the prerequisites. So that time we will execute these reports or scripts, then we will get the how much RAM is required for the target HANA databases.
Okay.
Sir, one doubt. Like you said, HANA is in memory. So my doubt is this file systems will not be in RAM.
No, file system is in disk storage, not in the RAM actually. So if you take your operating system, so your RAM is different and your disk storage, the file systems are different, right?
Okay,
It will
yes.
not be in the RAM actually. But
Okay.
data will be stored into the RAM only. But so additionally, one more copy of data will be stored into the in the file system as well. Why? Because RAM is the temporary storage area only. Whenever you do the system restart, again all the data will be gone from the RAM memory. So that time, this is very important.
Okay, sir. So in RAM only the business data will be present.
Yes, only business data.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sir,
think that's
sir,
it.
only that frequently as per the fetching data will be there in the RAM, right? Once like if we use a request for new data, then only it will go for the persistence storage, right?
Right. First, it will go to the RAM memory. Then after that, after 5 minutes, it will go to the disk storage level. That is concept is called the delta storage concept here. In our SAP, that concept will come delta merge. So data will go to up to here. Suppose like example, this is a RAM slot. So then this is the OS level file systems here. So in the RAM slot, they will divide into the two types here, DS and MS. This is upcoming topic, so don't worry. This is the RAM. First data will go outside to the RAM memory from here to here, and from here to here, data will come here. This is called the file system. This mechanism is called the save point interval. This mechanism is called the delta merge concept, which means So in the RAM memory is divided into the two memory areas. One is the DS and the MS. DS and MS. All the data calculations and everything will be executed in the DS. So then once the transaction is committed, means once you successfully booked the ticket, that the committed data will go to the main storage here. Then after that, after 5 minutes, then again same data will go to the disk layer, disk format level, it will store it here. Why? Because we are not sure when the hardware crash will happen, then entire data will come. That is the reason one copy of data will be stored into the file system level. So this is called the file systems slash and data slash and log. Here that will comes under the picture USR SAP slash and data slash and log. These are the file systems. So this is the RAM slot here. So this way the data will be come to the HANA database level. We have the concept, delta merge concept. Once you install it, you will come to know all those things. Okay.
Oh,